the minds that defines these institutions, and to my student friends who will shape the future of Bharat. Thank you for your very warm welcome to the IIT ISM Dhanbad. It is not every day that one is invited to speak at the 100th anniversary of any institute, and when that celebration belongs to IIT ISM Dhanbad, it is far more than an invitation. It is a once-in-a-lifetime historic opportunity to stand on the very grounds from which so many of our nation's custodians of the core have come from. I find it staggering that over a century ago, even when under the weight of British flag, the Indian National Congress recommended the setting up of this institution to meet Bharat's urgent need for mining and geology experts. Even in those challenging times, they understood a fundamental truth. अगर भारत को अपनी तकदीर संवारनी है तो उसे अपनी धरती की ताकत को समझना होगा। Our nation cannot rise to greatness unless she first masters the language of the earth under her feet. And so, this celebration is not just an opportunity to reflect where you have come from. It is also a moment to define where you must go and chart the future that must be created. And it is on these aspects that I will like to speak today. To begin, let us first confront a sobering truth. The age of a collaborative global trade and supply chains is collapsing. We are all seeing nations, once bound by a strong alliances, retreating into the shadow of self-preservation. The battles for a rare earth, semiconductors, tariffs, and the collapse of trade treaties are now the new normal and not the exceptions. And in this environment, even the most prominent global institutions such as NATO, the WTO, and the UN are being forced to reconsider their established frameworks and rules of engagement. My dear friends, sovereignty is defined as the ability to govern oneself without external influence and control. And in this era, where self-preservation dominates the global order, two pillars will be necessary to shape our sovereignty. First, master the resources below our feet. For he who commands his earth commands his sovereignty. Second, master the energy that fuels our rise. For she who owns her fire owns her sovereignty. And it is no coincidence that our ancient Vedas had articulated this truth long before modern geopolitics discovered them. Ya Bhumiya Prithvi Dhanvati Tejaha Bhavati Bhagyavati. Sovereignty belongs to those who commands their earth, and those who command their earth command their energy. And that is why our history must be our mirror. For whenever we have failed to recognize our own image, others have stepped in to paint it for us and define our destiny. And destiny, my young friends, is never gifted. It is the price of the fight to stay sovereign. Let us validate this with a familiar story. Once upon a time, as you know, about 100 kilometers from here stood the world's greatest seat of learning, Nalanda. Nalanda was not just a university. It was the command center of Bharat knowledge. It was Bharat dignity, proof that learning was our civilizational identity. It was Bharat destiny, for in his halls the future was authored before it was experienced. Its libraries housed manuscripts on a mining, metallurgy, energy, astronomy, governance, and many other sciences. Knowledge so advanced that seekers crossed oceans and deserts just to learn from Bharat and then carried the wisdom home. Therefore, when Bakhtiyar Khilji burned Nalanda, his aim was not just to destroy structures or set manuscripts on fire. Where Khilji used fire, the British used curriculum. Where Khilji destroyed manuscripts, the British destroyed memory. My young friends, why do I tell you this? Because the day we forget these stories is the day our unity begins to fracture. For if we let these stories fade, we risk losing the very glue that binds our generations and anchors Bharat in a turbulent world. A turbulent world where no geopolitical alliances is clean. No geopolitical alliance is permanent. Every geopolitical alliance is conditional. Every geopolitical alliance is transactional. Independencies with alliance one day become influence, and influence one day becomes power. And the first thing that power takes control is his narrative. So my young friends, what you learn here and what you build and implement when you walk out of these gates will decide whether our future sovereignty remains dependent on others or rises to stand on its own strength. इतिहास मत भूलो, भविष्य सौंपा नहीं जाता, कमाया जाता है। इतिहास मत भूलो, भविष्य सौंपा नहीं जाता, कमाया जाता है। जो तुम निर्माण करोगे वही राष्ट्र की दिशा तय करेगा। जो तुम बनोगे वही हमारा भारत बनेगा। And now, with this historical context, let us look at a contemporary example of what I mean, an example that is relevant to all of you. We live in an era of a narrative colonizations, where the very nations that plundered resources, enslaved continents, and burned fossil fuels for 2 centuries now stand on our moral platforms in our foreign capitals. Many of them now want to dictate the pace and style of Bharat's development. It is quite a paradox that those who heated the planet now want to set the rules for how we must cool the planet. This is the modern narrative. And so, if we do not control our own narrative, our growth will be criminalized, our aspirations delegitimized, and our right to improve our standard of living showcased as a global offense. जो हक हम नहीं मांगेंगे वो हमसे छीना जाएगा। जो हक हम नहीं मांगेंगे वो हमसे छीना जाएगा। जो कहानी हम नहीं लिखेंगे वो हमारे खिलाफ लिखी जाएगी। And this weaponized narrative surfaced at the 2025 COP30, where a report downgraded Bharat sustainability ranking, arguing that our nation lacked a coal exit timeline and continues to auction coal blocks. So let us examine some data points. Yes, Bharat is the world's third largest electricity consumer, but on a per person basis, we consume less than 1400 kilowatt hours a year. That is less than half the global average, 1/10 of America, and a fifth of Europe. Yes, we rank third in total CO2 emitted, but on a per capita basis, our 1.4 billion people emit under 2 tons compared to 14 tons in the US, 9 tons in China, and 6 tons in Europe. And if we speak of a history, the numbers reveal even more. In 200 years of our industrial activity, Bharat has contributed just 4% of our cumulative global emissions against 13% from Europe, 19% from the US, and 20% from China. I share this statistic with you because this is what the battle for the narrative is. Many current ESG models are designed to penalize the developing world. My challenge to you, IITians, is build the models that mathematically account for the energy dignity of our countrymen. Build the algorithms that value the life of a villager getting electricity for the first time as highly as a carbon credit traded in Europe. दुनिया के सारे डेटा को सच मत मानो, सवाल करो। सिर्फ उनका कोड मत पढ़ो, अपना कोड खुद लिखो। पहचान उनसे मत मांगो, अपनी पहचान खुद बनाओ। क्योंकि राष्ट्र आदेश मानकर नहीं बनते, क्योंकि राष्ट्र आदेश मानकर नहीं बनते, अपनी गाथा खुद लिखकर बनते हैं। My dear students, Bharat did not hit this planet. अंगार किसी और ने फूंका, पर बुझाने हमें पुकारा गया। अंगार किसी और ने फूंका, पर बुझाने हमें पुकारा गया। जो चिंगारी हमारी न थी, उसकी राख भी हमें ही सहना पड़ा। Yet, much of the developed world now expect Bharat to cool the earth. And very remarkably, we are indeed doing that. Earlier this year, Bharat reached a milestone. Over 50% of its installed electricity generation capacity came from non-fossil resources, hitting an important globally agreed number a full 5 years before its target. Under the Paris Agreement, adopted in 2015, that 195 countries had signed, no other major nation has been able to change its energy mix in such a dramatic fashion. दुनिया जहां रुक जाए, भारत राह बनाए, fastest energy transition in a human history. And yet, my young friends, the battle of narrative is a relentless, one of the most contested energy project of this century. Global environmental lobbies mobilized against us. Protests were staged across continents. Banks withdrew lending across businesses. We were vilified in our international media, debated in a foreign parliaments, dragged through courtrooms. Every signal was back down, retreat, give up the project. But we did not. Because our Carmichael mine was never a commercial bet. It was a commitment to our nation's energy security. And today, the very same Carmichael mine powers cleaner industrial growth in Bharat and sustains thousands of livelihoods in Australia. And punished long before you are acknowledged. And punished long before you are acknowledged. But my young friends, this is only half the story. Because the critics, even today, continue to debate the Carmichael mine projects. They conveniently forget another fact, the fact that we have invested to become one of the world's fastest growing renewable energy companies. आलोचना वो शोर है जो दर्शक करते हैं। आलोचना वो शोर है जो दर्शक करते हैं। सफलता वो गुंज है जो कर्मवीर रचते हैं। We are also building the world's largest renewable energy park at Khavda in Gujarat, spread over 520 square kilometers. At a full capacity by 2030, this park will generate 30 gigawatt of a green energy at an average India household consumptions. This would be equivalent to powering over 60 million national homes per year. And today, with the first 10 gigawatt already commissioned, we are on track to deliver the world's lowest cost green electron, thereby setting a global benchmark in our energy transitions. This, my young friend, is the asymmetry of our storytelling. When we build a coal for responsibility and dignity of our countrymen, we are criticized. When we build renewables at a global scale, our success becomes invisible. अदानी समूह ने कर्तव्य पथ से कभी मुंह नहीं मोड़ा और हम विकास की अनुमति नहीं, अपने मार्ग की गरिमा चाहते हैं। And I say this because false narrative destroy confidence. They make a nation doubt its own people and its own enterprises. But a nation with confidence tells its own story. It recognizes its builders, protects its institutions, and defends its aspirations. My dear young friends, let me now switch gears and speak about the decades ahead. As you graduate, you step into a moment of extraordinary promise where the global green energy transitions is emerging as the largest industries of our time, worth several $trillion over the coming decades. It will fuel the rise of electricity-based manufacturing, green steel, green fertilizers, hydrogen ecosystems, and the critical infrastructures that AI and digital economies depends on, which is also why we are investing over 75 billion US in the space of energy transitions over the next 5 years. And your discipline sits at the heart of these transitions, because here is the paradox of our age. To clean the skies, humanity must go under the earth. And the new periodic tables of progress is now dependent on rare earth, without which no magnet turns and no wind turbine spins. Lithium, without which batteries remain empty and EVs remain stationary. Copper, without which electrons lose their highways. Silicon, without which sunlight cannot be harvested. And uranium, without which baseload for our net zero civilizations is a dream. And to me, the most stunning truth of our times is that every AI chips that computes, every hyperscale cloud that connects, and every neural engine that learns all trace their origin back to the depth of Mother Earth. People may call mining the old economy, but what I say is that without you, there is no new economy. And this is why I firmly believe that mining, minerals, and earth sciences are now the new frontiers of sovereignties, sustainability, and Bharat's national capability. इसी मिट्टी में छुपा है भारत का आने वाला उजाला, इसी मिट्टी में छुपा है भारत का आने वाला उजाला, जो धरती को पढ़ ले वही है असली रखवाला। My dear friends, besides being the largest infrastructure player in the country, the Adani Group is also the largest mining player in our nation. In the years ahead, our commitment to mining and materials will significantly expand from extracting various ores to making metals, alloys, and finished products that power our economy, electrify mobility, and enable our nation's green transition. And so, I am pleased to announce the launch of two landmark initiatives. The first initiative is the Adani Annual Internship at IIT Dhanbad. We will offer 50 paid internships every year to third-year students meeting our merits and fitment criteria. Thereafter, a minimum of 25% of these interns will receive pre-employment offers to join us. We are not looking for just colleagues who follow manuals. We are looking for innovators who will rewrite them. We will bring you our toughest problems. We welcome you if you have the drive to solve problems that the world says cannot be solved, but you are willing to take up. The second initiative, the Adani 3S Mining Excellence Centers, built with a tax mean, this is not just a lab, it is an ecosystem where responsible mining, innovation, and industries academia collaborations intersect. For metaverse labs and drone fleets to seismic sensing and a precision blasting, this center is built to rewrite the future language of mining. Each year, the idea with the greatest potential to transform the sector of mining, energy, and core infrastructures will be selected through a campus-wide hackathon challenge. And the Adani Group will support the winning idea it selects with a funding, mentorship, and most importantly, real industry setting to prove the idea. मेरे वीर युवा साथियों, as I begin to close, I want to leave you with a few words of a personal advice, much of it from my own experiences and reflections. Remember, success is never granted. It is mined. It is extracted. As your ambitions expand, so will the world's desire to narrate your identity. It will attempt to dictate your boundaries, just as it tried to dictate mine. You will be told, just as I was, that to touch the earth is to harm the sky. Remember, to heal the sky, you must first master the earth. जिनके हाथों में मिट्टी है, वही भविष्य गढ़ते हैं। जिनके हाथों में मिट्टी है, वही भविष्य गढ़ते हैं। जो चुनौतियों से नहीं डरते, वही इतिहास बदलते हैं। And that is why I say, this is our second freedom struggle. The first was to give us political independence, and the second one is to give us economic and resource independence. And you, my young friends, are the next generations of Bharat's freedom fighters. And in this struggle, you are not just extracting resources, you are extracting sovereignty. You are not just mining minerals, you are mining dignity. And in doing so, you are helping build a Bharat that is not asking others for sympathy, a Bharat that is not asking others for validations, a Bharat that is not asking others for permission. And so, when history looks back at the 100th anniversary of the IIT ISM, may it say, "ए युग तुम्हारा, ए रण तुम्हारा, हर चुनौती तुम्हारी, हर शिखर तुम्हारा, तुम ही बनोगे दिशा, तुम ही लिखोगे विधान, तुम ही हो भारत का गौरव, तुम ही हो भारत का स्वाभिमान." And so, my young friends, dream fearlessly, act relentlessly, and let us build the Bharat of our dreams. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, sir, for this